the big revelation that has come in Sushant Singh Rajput case, that the late actor wasn't murdered. To our other top story, for weeks the murder theory surrounding Sushant Singh Rajput's death has been doing the rounds, but now it has fallen flat. In a stunning new twist, the AIIMS forensic team, which was investigating the late actor's autopsy report, has concluded that he wasn't murdered. The chairman of the AIIMS Forensic Medical Board has said that there were no injuries of struggle on his body. It was a death by hanging. The AIIMS report is ruling out murder and backing suicide as the cause of death. CBI sources say that the AIIMS report cannot be ruled out, though they will continue to probe all angles. Remember, sources had earlier told us that the agency was planning to add murder charges to this case. Meanwhile, the Mumbai police, which was criticized for trying to cover up the cause of death, says they have not received the official report from AIIMS so far, but maintains they are confident of their investigation. This comes as a big relief for Riya Chakravarti. Her lawyer, Satish Manishande, has said that even though false allegations are being spread against the actress, truth will not change. That brings us to the big question: should the debate now over the cause of death be put to rest once and for all? Joining me now on the show, AKashdeep. He is a filmmaker. Karuna Nandi is a lawyer. Ajwal Nikam is a lawyer as well. I'm going to begin with you, Karuna. You know, for weeks there has been this debate. It's been a month since the CBI took over the investigation. There are 3 investigating agencies looking at various aspects of this case. And the CBI charge sheet, which is essentially Patna charge sheet, has talked about abetment to suicide. Now the question is that when the sources in the CBI had indicated that 302 could be added, with this AIIMS forensic report clearly categorically saying that there are no strangulation marks, that there is no poisoning, should that entire debate be put to rest once and for all?
Been put to rest right in the beginning, Maria, because there was never any evidence. And essentially, I think that the entire media has been played by the government, because what happened is that there were conspiracy theories that were leaked here and there. There was little bits of so-called evidence. With the Bihar elections coming up, the charge of the family that would otherwise have been just incorporated in the Bombay police investigation took on a whole different life of its own. And let's be clear, what happened? You had a situation where it was quite clear that Mr. Rajput had, or rather as Sushant Singh, because let's remember that he dropped the name Rajput when he found that there was, the Karni Sena was acting in support of so-called Rajput pride, etc. So let's respect those wishes. So when Sushant Singh died, then there were no such questions whatsoever. It was only after this entire hoopla and this circus began did all of the rest of it start happening. Let's also be clear that no evidence has been found whether it was the alleged 15 crores that in fact never existed, whether it was some drug angle, then it moved to some drug angle, just to keep the media spinning on its wheels and busy and not reporting on the most important issues of the day that are really affecting people.
Yes.
Whether it's the economy, whether it's
so let's
COVID,
put the focus back, Karuna, on important issues now. And for
Absolutely.
this, and now that this AIIMS forensic board has clearly said that there is no strangulation mark, that there is no poisoning, Ujjwal Nigam, where does the case stand now?
Frankly speaking, some people would be happy because the murder theory falls flat. But at the same time, some people must be disappointed as they won't proceed as what they wanted to proceed. But quite apart, being a student of law, I must say that any medical report is only an opinion, expression of opinion by an expert team. So that is, it is not binding upon the court as well as upon the investigating agency. Investigating agency has to arrive its conclusion independently. But no doubt, at sometimes the medical report also acts as a corroborative evidence in the court of law. Now, the medical AIMS report is very clear. That shows that there was no poison detected in the internal organs of the body of Mr. Sushant Singh, number one. Number two, that there is no possible, this is not a case because the mass, ligature mass don't draw an inconclusive inference that it's a marks because of the strangulation. So they say that it's a marks of a hanging. Now, I don't want to enter into that, the opinion of expert, but it is for the CBI to take the overall view on the opinion of the AIMS doctor. Now, this case entirely rests upon the circumstantial evidence.
That's right.
Now, the CBI will require to find out, is there any such circumstances inviting the attention of an
Mr.
irresistible inference?
Since you are saying that the CBI as you know, can rely on this report, can dismiss this report based on what they have collected as circumstantial evidence so far, my question to you is that the inquest of Mumbai police had hinted in the similar direction that this is a case of suicide and not murder. My question is now, sir, that don't you think that we are forgetting as a country one important issue, that there are you know, people suffering from mental health conditions, and if anything, this case is certainly highlighting that.
See, you are perfectly right. See, Mumbai police arrive at a conclusion not only because of the medical report, but they had investigated certain facts. So their opinion is also an independent. Mumbai police never diverged what was transpired during their investigation. So in the first place, we can't blame Mumbai police, firstly, because they say very concretely, it's a case of suicide. On what basis they have said that it's a case of suicide, not only by merely seeing, but they must have interrogated some people, they must have investigated certain aspects, which Mumbai police, being a professional Mumbai police investigating agency, they did not divulge such material in the media. So that is one of the important reasons I am saying so. Now it is for the CBI. Kindly see, this case rests on the circumstantial evidence. So CBI will require to find out chain of circumstances whether it would connect irresistible inference that yes, it's a case of murder. And the people
Mr. AKashdeep, you know, when on 14th, when Sushant Singh Rajput was found dead in his apartment, that was the day when media started talking about mental health conditions. But soon after, it was about nepotism, then it took about, you know, everything under the sun but the mental health conditions. If you look at the nature of investigation, it's becoming very clear that the sisters knew about his mental health conditions, that he was suffering from depression for a very, very long time. What exactly has the family gained in by, you know, not giving that basic dignity in death to the late actor?
I can't see what they could gain. I think everybody got carried away by the sentiment that, and which I must confess that all of us, when we heard about the suicide, and gradually over a few days, media did its job and started showing us photographs, videos and stuff like that. And even that person in the cap standing with the black bag and then running away with the bag when the body was being taken. Then the indicting of the Cooper way of doing the postmortem and the date not being there. A lot of things did make us feel that this didn't seem a case of, you know, a clear suicide. However, if murder has to be established, and there was a circus going around 302 by certain people, I'm not attributing you to this, that now has to stop, because it's, if you are going to file an FIR with 302 and our learned legal luminaries will throw more light on it, you have to get corroborative evidence. Merely putting an FIR
Absolutely.
is
AKashdeep,
not going to be enough.
You know, AKashdeep, while we talk about closure for Sushant's family, and I'm repeating it again, let's not forget another family, and that is the family of Riya Chakravarti.
I was coming to that. And one very, very important point that people are missing out, a lot of hype in the media was given to certain statements made by the 4 people who were inside the house. the page Pitani XYZ. Oh, they said somebody came and cleaned the hard disk and all. So a lot was being made out of that. Oh, he said that Disha called me and I'm going to die and all that. Now, those points of those 4 people you are picking up and making a hula out of it. But the same people said that nobody came to kill him. So why aren't you believing that point of theirs? Everything in this campaign seems selective.
Okay, okay.
And I'm not saying anyone had a motive to prove murder.
Yes.
But murder has to be backed up with credible evidence, which we've always been waiting for. And people like us who also for a long time thought, oh, it's a clear case of murder. Then the way the Bombay police conducted came under spotlight and people started saying something is being hushed up. It reached political undertones. Oh, it's being done for Bihar. Oh, it's being done for the Bombay CM family. God knows where all it went. Now with the top medical body saying no, how is 302 going to be pursued unless CBI has also found great evidence? Is
Surya
something
Dwivedi,
we've not been
come
told.
in on this.
We've not been told.
Come in on this, and then I'll give the final words to Karuna. Surya
आपकी
Dwivedi,
आवाज पूरी नहीं आ रही है मुझे.
जी आप सुन सकते हैं अब?
हेलो.
Can you hear me?
आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही
Okay,
मुझे.
I'll ask my producers to fix that. Karuna, you know, while we look at several aspects in this case, this is an important piece of information that has come in today, that this is not a case of murder. Yes, we have to look at bigger issues, the issues that are far more important than what what media in general has been doing. My question is that how do we forget that there was a vilification campaign that went on for weeks against one person, that is Riya Chakravarti?
I think there has to be real accountability for it. And I think the media has to now, it's up to her whether she wants to claim damages for defamation or not. She might be too exhausted with all the legal battles that she has been entrapped in. However, I think that this is really a moment of introspection for the media in general, because at the University of Michigan did a study of 7,800 BJP and INC politicians who put out 1 lakh tweets about the case. And they found that unlike the Indian National Congress, the BJP's tweets used the word murder instead of suicide consistently. They also trended hashtags like, and they're very, very good at their social media work, shame on Mumbai police, Uddhav resign, or CBI for SSR, or shame on Maharashtra government. So this was used to make it a political issue, and something was concocted out of nothing. And so therefore, I think when there is something trending on Twitter or when there are selective leaks from government agencies, I do think that it's very important to take a step back and to assess the whole before we go down a particular path as a national conversation.
Ujjwal Nigam, 3 agencies looking into one case, multiple people questioned, Riya Chakravarti herself questioned for over 72 to 80 hours by multiple agencies. Have you seen a case in which multiple agencies are involved and which was seen as a watertight case initially and every theory is now falling apart?
See, I have conducted a number of high-profile cases.
Yes.
But I have never come across a case like this. Of course, I'm not conducting this case, but I have never seen a case like this where 3 different central agencies are working. I don't know whether they are coordinating with each other or not. But certainly CBI has not yet commenced investigation from any angle. We don't know actually what has been diverged to the CBI. But I don't know again what ED's job was in this case and what ED had got it, the material that has never come on the record. But I must tell you very fairly that I'm really shocked and amused to see whatever was investigated during the course of the investigation was selectively leaked to the media. That is the biggest problem, and I was worrying all the while why such sources are leaking such news to the electronic media, especially all the WhatsApp chat and etc. Because if at all, if somebody has committed a crime, then that will be beneficial to the accused, because the witness will be discredited. And some witness came on the channel, they were interviewed, they were cross-examined. I don't know what tamasha was going on totally.
Yes, cross-examination was happening in newsrooms. AKashdeep.
One other point that comes to my mind is that now perhaps the only thing that can be pursued is abetment to suicide. If this murder is completely ruled out by CBI also, right now it's only aims. Because they found money being paid by Kwon to Ria admitting to procuring drugs for Sushant. So whether she had abetted in him being in a condition where he took this on-the-spot decision, the deterioration
No, but
in
she
his
was
health.
not there in the house. She had left his apartment on 8th.
Consuming drugs over a period of time. I don't mean for that particular night. Drugs is not a one-night habit. It's probably happened over time. And there are videos that circulate of both Ria and Sushant smoking. And then all these people in the house said they procured for him. Ria agreed that she procured. Now Kwon has made payments to her. Sushant's paid Kwon 10 crores, whereas agencies only get a commission of 10-15%.
Okay,
so
Karuna wants to... Karuna wants to speak.
These things will not
20
take
seconds.
years.
Now, this is,
Okay, 20 seconds.
This is the abetment track.
20 seconds. Karuna.
It will take
Thank you.
years.
You see, the trouble with people, you see, both the lawyers on the panel are being quite clear. You know, it's not that Mr. Nikam and I necessarily agree on everything. We would diverge on many different things, right? But both the lawyers on the panel are being very clear here, Maria. You have someone basically looking at a few things on social media, coming up with theories which are, with the greatest respect, Mr. Akash, complete nonsense, right? Now, he's speaking of now evidence on huge crores that were transferred to Ria. Now, the CBI has itself said that money was never transferred, and apparently that money never existed.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so now to just sort of spout forth and to perpetuate the kind of slander and defamation that has happened against this young woman, I think is terrible. And
yes, it's shameful.
Absolutely should not be done.
Absolutely. Karuna, thank you so much. AKashdeep and Ujjwal Nikam, thank you so much for joining us. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching.